Sideline of goal! Lane Winner's doing it! They're gonna take it! He's gonna bring down Bernie! Almost with a double kill! Dropping fast! Monaco's there! He's still alive! Wait, second slide! He's got one side! He's got a second! He's taking it! Oh my god! On three! They're all dead!
Hello everyone and welcome back. We are in it. It's the Summit 2 C qualifiers. We're in our third match of the night. We get to see the debut of these two teams in the Summit 2. It's going to be Gigabyte's Mineski going against Arrow Gaming. Bring you the action. I myself am Kyle Guy, and joining by my side, it's Mr. David Blaze from Blaze Gaming. How you doing, my friend? We've got to see two stomps coming out from Team Malaysia. But I'm looking forward to this one. I'm a big personal fan of Arrow Gaming, and Mineski's always been somewhat promising. So what are your personal thoughts?
I think Mineski is a lot better than they were a couple months back. They were plagued by instability. There was a lot of shuffling going on, and they didn't really have their place. But under Jesse Vash's leadership, with Joven back on the team, I really think there is a lot of potential for what they can bring to the table. But as you mentioned, Arrow Gaming, they are ones to impress as well, although they did lose one of their players. Johnny was removed from the roster. They picked up Matelu, and he has been performing quite admirably for them. So while I'm not sure how they're faring with this new patch, I know the team pretty well, and I'm anxious to see what they have in store for us today. But as far as the draft goes, we're going to see a respect ban of the DDZ Invoker. The Doom is also very frequently picked up in both Lance and Xiangzai's hands, so they want to take that off the table. And yeah, we're getting off to the races here with Centaur and Razor, the kind of chasing combo, whereas Brewmaster and Ancient Apparition are the teamfight ones.
It was DDZ's Invoker that did win my heart when I saw them really play in the qualifiers. This kid looks so good. He is just such a prodigy, and I still think so. And he has a lot of promising talent, and I think it's well worth the respect ban on Invoker. And even Lance's Doom as well. They really put on a clinic in the TF4 qualifiers in their own C division. It was really pleasing to watch during the NA Hub, and I'm looking forward to a nice, strong performance. It's got to be, known by now from their side that when they see these respect bans, they got to have other kind of heroes to really follow up with. I even saw DDZ pull out a fantastic Queen of Pain. He just works really well with some, of the snowball heroes, and we'll see what they pull it out, because Mineski have a nice, promising start here. They get a hold of that Brew, which we've come to know and love in these games, and the Ancient Apparition, which is another hero I really like to see and personally play, and already he's going to, take it to Razor, the hero who loves to get a mechanism typically. That's going to nerf down any sort of healing prowess that's going to be coming their way. And like you already talked about, the Centaur Warrunner, early primary grab, who's quickly becoming one of the top offlaners in the game with his global presence of that Stampede, using both heavy initiation and great defensive abilities with that to prevent any sort of big jump-ins. And the pushing power of Razor and lane dominance there, and they followed up with Earthshaker, so we got a bit of the Bash brothers here, if you will, between Earthshaker and Centaur. A lot of strong lockdown coming out from Arrow, and there's your Bat Rider grab to counter back from Mineski.
Yeah, the Centaur still has to be a little bit careful how he plays this. If he gets afflicted by the Ice Blast debuff, he generally speaking can't use Double Edge. You can't suicide with Double Edge anymore. You will give Ancient Apparition the kill credit, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to be just killing yourself off as quickly as your opponents. So maybe going to be a little bit more of a reserve Centaur, but still, it's all about precision. It's all about where Xiangzai finds the jump. I mean, we have actually seen some teams kind of go for the new meta Centaur safe lane and build up that blink really early, but that's not Lance's style. He definitely wants to build up towards mid to late game, whether he plays the Razor or another right-click oriented hero that can build up a BKB or MKB against the Brew. We'll have to see, but he generally speaking loves to go for that late game. We're not probably going to see his Morphling here, because obviously the Ancient Apparition counteracts that pretty well, but for now they'll hold the cards. They'll say, okay, this Razor could be just about anything, but for now we've got our ganking combo. Earthshaker, Rubik, great spells to steal like the Ice Blast as well as the Primal Split, but we'll see how Mosin uses it.
Hopefully Ice Blast shouldn't be a good grab. Typically A is one of the ones to sit back in the dark and just kind of throw the jumper from downtown and get things set up. And I was going to say, right before they grabbed at this Rubik, already seeing the Bat Rider, and you have a secondary support to grab. This is going to be a hero that's going to need to prevent Bat Rider from getting that strong initiation. Other teams typically go with like your Vengeful Spirits, maybe a Shadow Demon, but Rubik works very nicely as well. The Telekinesis quick grab would help, against Bat Rider when he does his big jump in, but Rubik also offers a lot in the early game, because I know Arrow Gaming like to play pretty aggressive, so we could see a lot of early movement from them, maybe even right off the bat to go for a first blood. But it looks like Mineski, they get their own. Marana, we're going to see her for the first time tonight. A hero I'm very, very fond of myself, and another hero who likes to add early pressure. Now, it could still be a core. We do see it every once in a while. Your Navi Havos like to play it, and we've seen it like from your Sing Sings, and it can definitely be done. A very flexible hero, but for most teams, they like to just continue to add pressure on that mid lane. It could be on Razor, obviously, and just prevent him from feeling too comfortable and getting that early farm.
Reserve time.
Yeah, I actually can't see it in any way but a core here, honestly, because roaming around with the Ancient Apparition really isn't a great option, and the SEA teams, specifically the Pinoy teams, do love to run their core Marana. It used to be always the Lincoln Sphere rush buildup. I don't think that's really viable up against the lineup that they're dealing with, but yeah, still Marana in the safe lane farming role can still peak at a very early time, gain a lot of momentum, and they can kind of run over their opposition. But yeah, it's going to come down to maybe some lasso plus arrow plays to really make things happen, because when it comes down to it, lasso alone isn't going to be enough, because as soon as Bat Rider lassos, Centaur is going to pop the Stampede, and people are going to be just trucking on top of him, counter-initiating and bringing people down. You don't want to lasso an Earthshaker because he's going to Echo Slam your team if he gets too close. You don't want to lasso Rubik because it almost feels like a waste. But the other targets are a little bit more difficult to bring down, and it's going to just come down to precision, really, to make sure that the combos land as you intend them to. Beyond that, we're going to see a ban out of an interesting hero, the Life Stealer. Just in case it was going to be a support Marana, that is a good setup with the open wounds and a great infest inside the Brew or the Bat.
Yeah, and we'll see. And, normally we don't see Life Stealer whole often with your new meta of like your Faceless Voids and these kind of lockdown heroes and Razors and such. He doesn't really tend to last too long in those kind of matchups, so it's really difficult to see Life Stealer to his, the olden days where we saw big potential, but maybe they were thinking that it would be one of those bat bombs that we used to see all the time. So they banned it out of respect, and you could be right. It could still be a core Marana. Typically when you have a Bat Rider who can jump in, kind of lock someone down, you need a lot of burst follow-up to really take down that target. So we'll see if it is going to be the core Marana, or this last pick will definitely give it all away. And Arrow Gaming going for more of a snowball factor here, not looking to push it maybe too long later in the long run, because it's going to be a Slark for their 5th grab. I imagine this is going to be Lance's pickup here, and we'll see. I know he's played the hero very often. He's going to look to try to get some kills early, and I've always known Lance to be one to just kind of plant himself and build up the farm and be able to make his appearance later on. But with Slark, that can't always be the case.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see like a Midas build up and transitioning into some more raw durability items, but in this case, when you see Lance pick it up, you're generally going to see a lot of early aggression. You're going to be seeing him try to at least get a kill or two before the Ancient Apparition hits level 6 and build momentum off of that. They may consider an aggro try if the Marana does turn out to be core, because Slark Pounce is so great at counteracting her leap. But no matter how it works in the early game, it's going to be extremely impactful in the mid to late. It is, again, kind of hindered by that Ice Blast. You don't get the regen from the Shadow Dance during that effect, but you are able to dispel some huge problems for any carry hero. The Drunken Haze, the Sticky Napalm, even the Lasso can be dispelled. So if you use your Dark Pact appropriately, you can just do wonders with this hero in this situation.
And we'll see here as Mineski are milking the clock for this 5th pick. Seeing that Slark maybe has put him in a bit of a predicament where they might have to change things up there at the end. And this will definitely reveal a lot as far as what team synergy they're actually going to be looking for. I'm already wagering not too much early aggression. Oh, it is the Vengeful Spirit going to be grabbed up right here. And with Jack already grabbing Marana, unfortunately, I don't know Mineski as well as I probably should, so I'm not too sure if it's going to be the core grab or not, or if this is going to be a core Vengeful. But more than likely, I'm just going to wager and throw out there that it's going to be a core Marana. I'm not too sure if you have any better idea as far as the players go and what roles they typically play. I'm a little rusty on my C, to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, it's not even an easy call for somebody experienced in the scene because NMA switches his roles up quite a bit. He used to be the hard
Mm-hmm.
farmer for Mineski. More recently, he's been playing support. So I think it is going to be Jocko farming on the Mirana. But honestly, I could see maybe Mirana finding a timing window of maybe level 5 or something where he gets a TP and goes for an arrow gank, and NMA takes the lane for the time being. So we'll see exactly what he wants to accomplish. I do think that finding some farm on these supports is going to be pretty big, though. Obviously, the Ancient Apparition can build up towards Ags and have some real potential there, but also the
Prepare for
support
battle.
Vengeful Spirit will need to find something like a Ghost Scepter or a Force Staff to try to survive against this Slark.
All right, and with that said, we'll jump right into it here. This is the third game of the night. Arrow Gaming going to be taking on Mineski. Both teams, this is their first match in this round-robin stage of the Summit 2 by G2A.com qualifier. I'll lead things off here with your Radiant side. It is going to be Arrow Gaming. We got Zhang Sai already going up towards the offlane on the Centaur Warner. He puts his ward down to get that extra side vision, pings out and sees it's going to be the Bat Rider up in the safe lane, interesting enough. On the mid lane, it's going to be none other than Mr. DDZ, who I like to consider the prodigy, playing your Razor. Along the bottom, the trifecta is going to be led out by the new member, MTR. On Earthshaker, Lance is going to be playing the Slark, and finally that leaves Mozun going to be playing the Rubik.
All right, since passivity ensues, we get to introduce the other side of the coin as well. Looking over at Mineski on the Dire side here, we're going to be looking at Jocko picking up the mid Marana, being pulled a few tangos, picking up some for himself as well. It is going to be, at least starting towards the jungle for now, Yaj, the stand-in on the Bat Rider here. It looks like he is kind of an informal member of Mineski, but I personally haven't seen too much from him, so excited to see what he has in store. But of course, we are going to be looking at the support Jesse Vash on the Ancient Apparition up top, and that will leave NMA to kind of roam around a little bit early on. He's going to be playing the support Venge, starting right now towards bottom, but will make his way up top to support Joven on the Brewmaster, who's going to be the playmaker for the most part here. And I guess that covers all the bases, as they don't really have a traditional offlane with the Bat starting in the jungle.
Yeah, we'll have to see as if they're just going to forfeit over the bottom lane right off the start. That is a bit of a risk to take here, but Bat Rider is one who can also find significant farm in that jungle, and it looks like he's going to just start there for now. So very unorthodox here, and I haven't seen quite a while, as Lance is just going to begin to go to town and really practice his last hitting here, bringing in that early bit of farm. A risky play here. But we'll see if it manages to pay off for him, as it's going to be Centaur is going to be going toe-to-toe with what looks like a tri-lane, and already getting the early boots. He should be able to avoid any sort of early potential. I mean, if they can time out the lockdown, you know, your Magic Missile and your Cold Feet, maybe they can get something done. Follow it up with Joven on the Brew. They can hope to get a sweet pick off there, but, you know, we'll see, though, if Zhang Zai, who really started coming into his own during the TI4 process. Their team didn't have so much luck, but he started to shine slowly but surely, and here we go. It pulls out the early churling presence, though, from Jesse. And coming in from behind, though, they might zone him back. And just as I give him props, unfortunately, Blaze, he might run into a bit of a pickle here as he gets pushed right in the corner. Well, there's your first blood. It doesn't take too long for Mineski to strike first, and it's going to be Joven on the Brewmaster who gets it done.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him, but it's really the new creep equilibrium that's been established in 6.82. The fact that the creep wave pushes out just a little bit further than the Radiant side, it's not as comfortable as it used to be, and it's easy to get that flank off, and he just got pressured a little bit too hard. So once they started, and Venge was in position to get the flank, there was no way of getting out of that one, unfortunately. But the other lanes are going obviously much better. The fact that there is nobody to zone down bottom allows Metelu as well as Mosin to have a run-of-the-mill in the jungle. They've already started stacking on the western Radiant camp. Metelu is getting some great pulls out here from the pull camp and the hard camp, or medium camp subsequently, and obviously Lance is free farming away. So in this position, you just go, oh wow, look at Lance's situation right here, actually. It's pretty interesting. He's got like 2.5 creep waves right here pressuring him. I'm wondering exactly what he intends to do with this.
It's a cliff jungling Bat Rider, I guess, as he's going to have to wait it out. He's pinged. They see him. And Rubik in Viz blocks him back a bit, gets the vision over, and we're seeing a rotation coming from Centaur, who's already been scouted out, and now Centaur might be pressure, but now they see Mosin's also in the neighborhood. Your stomp is going to land there on Bat. Nice lift follow-up, and they should be able to take him down, and it's Mosin who gets the kill, but an arrow fly in from the mid lane. It's none other than Jacko. He gets the sweet pickoff right there on Centaur, so they bounce right back, and it still works out even better for Mineski. Quickly, Bat Rider TP's in, makes his return, and looks to go to the jungle, but speaking of which, it looks like we are going to have a wait, please. We're going to have to pull out the pause, as maybe there might be a bit of an internal issue here, but we'll go. But, man, quickly firing from both teams. Mineski, still coming out, man. They get the first kill on Brew. You know, they do lose their Bat Rider there, but it's Marana who picks up another kill, and that helps her out in that mid lane against Razor.
Yeah, but feeding away just one kill to Marana isn't the end of your world. Feeding away, getting the kill on the Bat Rider is a really big deal because it disrupts his rotations, it disrupts his general movement and groove in this jungle. And when you look at Bat Rider and the nerfs that he's received, Sticky Napalm, a level 2 Bat Rider isn't going to be very efficient at farming up these camps. So any dent that you can put in his rotations and his early movement is going to be really impactful as far as his Blink Dagger time comes out. He still has the boots, obviously, that he started with, but he's not really going to be able to chew into that hard camp stack just yet at only level 1. In fact, probably going to leech from the mid for a little bit to at least get to level 2 to have a chance to stab at that camp. Now, I was actually looking at the CS chart and was a little bit worried for Lance, as he only had like 6 in a free farm lane, but then I looked down bottom and he actually had like almost a triple wave of creeps right in front of him that he was blocking with the poor man's shield. So interesting if there was just some strategy behind that. Maybe Matelu really wanted to get a lot from the jungle and was pulling a lot. No matter what happened, Lance was able to control it, pull it back, and has gotten pretty much every last hit since under his tower. So really experienced farmer, gets the most out of this situation. And although we do have to wait it out for Jocko to get back into it, as of course these players are usually connecting to a LAN cafe and have limited control over how their PCs will perform for them. Yeah, we're just going to kind of take a quick little break and assess the situation.
Yeah, I've been showcasing off everyone in as illustrious fashion as possible to make things aesthetically pleasing for our viewers, who are going to need a, you know, just be patient with us a bit as Mineski does sort things out in their cafe kind of a setup. But yeah, I have to agree, it does shift things back for Bat Rider, who was hoping to have kind of a free reign there in the jungle. But it's not going to be so easy now as he shifts on back through. Lance is going to be able to take advantage once more of this bottom lane. And same with MTR, who's also having free will to just build up some XP on the side, doing the pulls. And this leaves Rubik with really nothing to get down on the bottom, so he could just kind of roam about, use those boots to truck on through, find opportunities like he did in the jungle to get some sort of setup happening, and continue to add pressure. I mean, if Bat Rider, you want to forfeit the bottom lane, I'm going to find you. And I'm not going to make it easy whatsoever. And there's your Marana reconnecting to the game. I imagine we could get things back underway here shortly. But before I get into that, you know, top lane as well, we got to also give a little love here to the Brewmaster Joven, who did benefit from that first blood. He has already got near 1K gold. We'll see if he goes right into the Arcanes or if he holds that investment and goes for the Blink Dagger.
Yeah, I think the Blink is a better route to go since Blink no longer costs any mana, but obviously it does cost quite a hefty sum with the increased gold cost most recently. We're going to see a lot of action on the mid lane, honestly. Like, obviously, like you said, Mosin likes to rotate around there. He's already in the general area to be stacking the western Radiant jungle, and when he makes his movement there, maybe they have the opening to bring down Jocko, who's really been playing with fire every time he goes to the lane against the static link. He does have the tools to maneuver against it with the leap, but whenever that leap's on cooldown for that 30-second duration, he's very vulnerable to a smoke gank. So we'll see if that comes into play at all.
And it looks like Zhang Zai is playing it very, very safe up here. Knows that there's a lot missing off the map for the supports. Your AA lingering nearby, but same with NMA on his Vengeful Spirit. And they're just going to wait it out patiently for that 4-minute rune to pop up, but same with Centaur. They are all hungry for it. Even mid lane wants to get on the action. DDZ sees an arrow coming. He's like, no way that's going to hit me. Wave of Terror scouts thing out, but it's Razor who quickly takes up that bounty rune. Bottom, that leaves Mosin with the illusion, so it's Arrow that are going to take control of both runes for their side. And still a continuation of farm on the bottom. Though Lance is not top of CS, 20 and 8, and not benefiting from that first blood like Brew is. Brew is the one that has the early promising start here.
Yeah, but they are going to be able to push pretty hard onto this tier 1 tower, so they're going to put a lot of damage into it, bringing it at least below half here. The timing is great because they went for a double wave right when the siege creep came through. They also got the illusion rune on the Rubik, which will enable them to do just a little bit more damage, tank up a few more shots. Yaj will, however, get a lot of experience out of this, as it's all just a lot of creeps dying within his range, and he is going to jump up to level 4 here, and unless they can do something about it, the Fissure could set up the pounce, but it won't actually block his movement with the Firefly active.
Yeah, Firefly still going strong here. Going to expire after a little bit, but this tower fortification already used. They're bringing it down. They would love to get a hold of it if possible. And, you know, this also sacrifices top lane, but nope, there's your lift. It's not going to come to anything. Tower very low. He's looking for the deny. He's holding out, pelting it. Oh, they want it. Who's going to stay? Oh, it's Lance who just bullies him out, takes it down. Fallen. And there's your first tower to fall very early in 5 minutes. It's Arrow to grab it. So with that, and some of the, you know, the early kill, it's not too dramatic as far as net worth. Mineski held it a bit with the advantage in kills, but now they take this tower. It kind of squares things up a little bit more, but here we go. Now top lane's the one benefiting from a free lane here. Is still a continuation, and Brew that much closer, and it is going to be a Blink Dagger save here, as he's got about 1,800 gold invested towards it.
Yeah, and the center just can't get anywhere near this lane. Like, he's been roaming at bottom, now mid. He's trying to find a home, and it's been difficult because there has been some really good creep control coming out of Mineski on the top lane. But yeah, in the end, I think that Arrow are pretty happy with the current state of affairs. Lance had a couple of openings to kill off the Bat Rider, but he's waiting for his ultimate. He wants to be secure in his dive, so even if there's TP rotations, he can just be very confident moving forward. We're going to be seeing Razor go for the treads here, and a build that I kind of like here with the max plasma field and not really focusing on the static link, because he's not going to get much out of that. So with the plasma field, he's kind of getting some good farm out of the jungle on the western side and looking for opportunities where he can obviously collaborate with his teammates with a lot of burst nuke.
It looks like Mineski, you're pinging out this bottom lane Lance, who's pretty confident here and pushed up, and they would love to rotate these supports over and get a hold of them, and it looks like that's going to be the game plan. They're using the smoke, blazing it up, as they would love to come in from the side, as Lance already uses out. Oh, there it is. The Pound's going to get away from this one. They can't quite catch up. Magic Missile has the range, and they're trying to slow it with the Vortex, but nope. He's a slippery little guy, and he does manage to avoid the gank coming in and pulls on back. And mid lane, it's a Centaur Rubik now, doing it as a duo while the Razor farms up the side neutral camp. And Mirana, who's been relatively quiet since her early pickoff here, is continuing to farm up forward, trying to get a hold of her phase boots, but investing clearly most into Starstorm, not looking to find too many pickoffs with the arrow early in this game.
Yeah. That bottom lane gank I honestly don't see happening in almost any situation other than the Slark half disconnecting, just because the power of Pounce and Dark Pact, projectiles coming from Vengeful Spirit and such, you're not really going to be able to set yourself up for any real damage on them. So in the end, they force them back, but even with a great timing window just before level 6 comes out, they don't find what they're looking for, and Lance is going to be able to build up towards Treads, Poor Man's Shield, and Drums. That'll increase his farm rate, allow him to really get on his targets really quickly with a lot of movement speed, and when that Stampede comes out for Xiang's Eyes, he is at level 4 1/3. That's going to be when things really start happening.
So they're going to leave their AA here at the bottom to get some solo XP. Needs to get to that level 6. Get that Ice Blast. Such a fantastic tool to have on your team to prevent any sort of sustain from your opponents, given you can land a proper Ice Blast. So he's going to make it work here, but has to be cautious. There is a Slark on the other side who's already got a nice early set of farm, being level 7. Got a Bracer, Poor Man's Shield, and 800 gold to spend for now here, as we'll see what his early investment will be. AA pulls all the way back. And good game sense from him, as it is DDZ going to make the rotation over, but also coming in from behind the duo of supports, but they're not going to get anything out of this, and it's going to be a bit of time wasted for him, as Mirana will now take advantage of that mid lane bit of farm. Brew, who had already farmed up that Blink Dagger, actually now leaves that top lane, and he's looking to make something happen himself. He's already got Primal Split obviously ready to go, a full leveled up Clap, ready to make it happen right now as he shifts towards the bottom, but will need some assistance there. This leaves your Bat Rider, who had a bit of a hard time at the start with this top lane to work with. He's going right for the Blink Dagger near 1,800 gold. Actually buys a TP there just in case things do break out. So, but he's going right for the initiation tool.
Yeah, so he's in a pretty good spot there, but the TP is actually going to be to the top lane. That's just, I guess, to match up against the Bat Rider really well there. Lance trying to go for a play, but yeah, Pounds won't connect, and obviously there are plenty of reinforcements for Mineski there, so maybe even better that he doesn't commit too hard to it. One thing is down on the bottom lane, there is an observer ward that was placed on this little high ground spot. It's a new spot, but it's a very important one for establishing dominance over anybody trying to farm the AA, trying to hit 6. Anybody that's down there, you need to have vision of them. There is a sentry ward in place, but the only way they're going to see it is with Firefly, Arrow, or Wave of Terror, and honestly, that means they need at least 2 heroes to commit to dewarding, which just isn't going to happen at this stage.
Looked like Mirana tried a timeout narrow mid lane, waiting for the creeps to go down, but couldn't quite get the mark. Would have loved to grab it, as it looks like both Brew and a smoked up Venture Spear are going to move in. There's your blink going to work. Clap. Stomp return from Centaur, but he falls there. As you are going to be successful, Mr. Brew, with your first blink ganking. And now they want more. DDZ gets cycloned up. He will pull out the Static Storm. Nice timed arrow follow-up from Jacko, though. Locks him in place. Uh-oh, here comes Rubik, but it's not going to be enough. They lose 2 now. Jacko pops out the Starstorm, leaps. Oh, doesn't get up the hill, but will be able to slip off from the side. Nope, spoke too soon. Oh, the pounce. Just a bit short right there. Your Moonlight Shadow is going to allow for a swift escape. And look at the rotations that came in from Arrow. Big, promising engagement right there for Mineski.
Yeah, most definitely. That's just absolutely huge. I mean, exploiting the fact that there are some really under-leveled supports on the side of Arrow. That's true, of course, for Mineski, Ancient Apparition, and Venge don't have much going for them, but they can also do a lot with very little. A level 2, level 3 Venge or AA are still very dangerous as far as the damage they can put out, and they just need that initiation, which the Brewmaster provided. So now it's going to be the tier 1 tower under pressure in the mid lane in response, but the kill momentum is certainly going the way of Mineski, and they want to keep it that way.
Razor building towards that mechanism, but like I said in the draft, Ancient Apparition can make that mechanism a bit more tricky to try to get off in some of these fights if Mineski does lead off with a nice proper Ice Blast, but they would love to try to get some extra income here by taking down this tower. It looked like they had a bit of visual there. It was a nearby Mirana who's weighing out, would love to Robin Hood herself. Sweet arrow in his mid lane, but Brew makes the jump in on Lance, followed up with a lasso as well, and it's an easy takedown right there. They clean out the core. And they would love to see if they can get anything else here, but with 2 supports nearby for Arrow, they're not going to allow for a follow-up, but another sweet takedown coming out from Mineski, taking down the prized Slark, Lance. So things are looking really nice. Strong start for them, 5-1 for Mineski.
Yeah, they still do lose the tower there. The Radiant were able to get the last hit on it, so that means that Arrow are, in the end, even with that loss, still ahead as far as gold. But it is still a very important kickoff to make, to unveil that Blink Dagger with a flourish, to get that kill, and to make sure that Slark isn't not only getting a tower kill, but gaining a lot more momentum off of that. For now, he's going to be sitting on the drums, the treads, the PMS for a while, and he's probably not going to be progressing towards anything substantial for another several minutes, and that's going to give timing.
They want to go for Mirana mid lane, but Brew is waiting, but they take her down so damn quick. They didn't know that Centaur had a Blink Dagger, and they get it done. Now Brew invests his Primal Split, and they're going to quickly take down that Earth Panda, and he has to properly pull back. Even Batrider was kind of ready to go, but they're going to just have to chalk up their loss right there. Man, Mirana did not stand a chance. They were not expecting the strong initiation from the Centaur on that one, but he did manage to pull together that Blink Dagger after the tower takedown and puts it right to work.
Yeah, and up top, Lance is going to be zoning out Jesse Vash away from his level 6. This is huge. If Vash just sat here for like 3 more creep waves, he would have his ultimate, which is so crucial for Mineski to guarantee these kills. But in this position, we're going to have a timing window where Mechanism will be up for the Razor, and Ice Blast will not be up for the Ancient Apparition. However, the Moonlight Shadow comes forth. Jocko looking for the arrow onto Lance. Can they get it?
This is the blink that we want, baby. They want a blink and lasso. Ride him cowboy, but there we go. The nicely timed Dark Pact saves him for now. He's trying to get away, a pounce out, and he lives, a slippery little man, as he does manage to get out. Return fire, though, coming out. DDZ pulls out the Eye of the Storm. Static links up a little bit of damage, but can't quite get anyone locked down. And for now, it's just a bit of a stalemate here. But still, Mineski lingering about. Would love to make something happen. Brew has no Primal Split to work with here. And I think they'll just have to accept the fact that this tower will have to fall. They make him work a bit. They pull out the fortification like you should on your tier 1s. But ultimately, it will fall. That's 2 tower takedowns now for Arrow Gaming. Mineski have yet to grab their first.
Yeah, it's actually their third, as you count the one down bottom they took really early on.
Right.
A lot of gold going their way. Oh.
Uh-oh. Mid lane, Rubik gets quickly melted there from your Batrider jump in. It looked like an arrow that caught him on the mark right there. And Mineski managed to grab themselves something on the way out from losing out that tower. So the support does fall. Rubik also had just managed to pull out his level 6. Didn't really get to use it right there, but the support who's also just able to get to that point. Ancient Apparition does reach his own level 6, so now going to put that Ice Blast to strong use here. And Centaur, who had struggled to pull together a Blink Dagger, now has it. But also, what
Radiant's
is flying
middle
his way?
tower
It looks
is
like he's going to
under
finish
attack.
off his Tranquils. So
Dire's
continuing to
top
invest
tower
on
is under
4. We'll see
attack.
what it's going to be for him. Well, my brain here. No, not your pipe. Doesn't really need the excess of magic damage for this one. But well, we'll have to see what he's going to decide to follow up with after the blink.
Yeah, I mean, you can go with so many different things here. Vladimir's offering is actually pretty strong in this position, just to help out the Slark as much as you can. But yeah, I mean, it's not too imperative that he picks up any specific item. He kind of has a freestyle to it. But I like the general ward sense that
Radiant's
we now
bottom
see
tower
coming out
is
for
under
Arrow.
attack.
Obviously, the Observer Ward that we talked about earlier is dispelling, but like...
Spaz leap out from Mirana. They saw her up there, and they pull her right back down with that telekinesis, and she is done. Oh, nice proper vision there. Arrow Gaming make the jump, and Mirana makes her own jump, but unfortunately she puts herself in a landing pad with
Radiant's
nowhere to
bottom
go,
tower
and they
is
just
under
take her
attack.
down. So
That was the last
nice swift
15
takedown.
seconds of that ward that I was just talking about. That was pretty much the last possible time they could have gotten that kill, but beautiful.
Radiant's bottom tower
Very,
is
very
under
nice
attack.
grab. Mirana's one of the better ones to take on that mix, and it looks like she's going to invest towards a Midas here. She's got the glove, or maybe it's going to be early Maelstrom. I'm not too sure. We'll see if it's going to be. It'd be a bit late for a Midas if she is considering investing in a lot more to be,
Dire's middle
I guess,
tower
that
is
much
under
more
attack.
impact later in the game because, well, if it does get to that point, she might have to be the dark horse to pull it out for him. Brew offers a lot, and Bat's one to set it up, but they're going to need some real hard-hitting right clicks there. And, you know, we'll see if she decides to go straight for the Maelstrom with that.
Yeah, she actually just picked up the Hand of Midas, so I'll never complain about a Hand of Midas on Mirana. I feel it's a hero that benefits more from levels and general, like her stackings are amazing. So honestly, there's no 2,000 gold item that I would say she has to have in order to make an impact and make her that impactful. Like if you get 4,000, 6,000 gold on her, then she's going to be right-clicking hard. But just a little like Yasha or something, you can take her to leave it. So the Midas is going to do some work.
Radiant's bottom
Long-term, like you
tower
said,
is
it'll be
under
great.
attack.
But it is pretty slow at 16 and a half minutes. It's
Yeah.
it's going to have to do some work, and they're going to have to stretch this game out.
They do say a Midas is at its weakest right after you get it, so we'll see if Arrow turn up the aggression a bit more, knowing that Mirana doesn't have that little extra utility maybe you see in her, whether it be that reliable Yasha for her extra bit of agility damage and move speed, and maybe if they can try to punish her as much as possible, because if they just kind of let her go, she can really prove to be a problem later on. Now, late game, though, Arrow also have some strong contenders. Lance, who had been taken down previously, actually went with a Blink Dagger build. And I want to say this is extremely unorthodox, but I've been seeing this also picked up in the hands of even Black of Vici Gaming recently. So really trying to go strong with the initiation on here. I don't know what you feel about the item, but this takes away a bit from his other big stat gang items that he might typically go for.
Yeah, in this position, it's kind of the trend that PyCat started, but it's really impactful at this stage in the game. If in the hands of a skilled player, if it's a pub player who picks it up in my games, I would say, well, maybe he's not going to really get the most out of it. But in the hands of Lance, he's already shown that he can use the Dark Pact well enough and the Shadow Dance when he needs to just rely on his skills alone. And this Blink Dagger just gives him that extra little bit of reach. Speaking of some reach in the mid lane here, they're going to look for Mosin, but he uses the Stolen Leap to get out, and they stampede back in.
Nice return. Stampede gonna lead it off, and the bat goes down. Now Lance jumps on in, but he goes right into the bare necessities. Primal Split gonna be pulled out right now, and he's gonna use it actually to make his way the hell out of there as the Earth Panda's staggering behind, but will eventually reach up to his brothers. And, well, only going to be the one swift takedown, but hey, it was a counter initiation that worked out nicely there for Arrow. It could have been grim, but yeah, convenient leap there. And the hands of Rubik does save him, so thankful for that steal early on.
And it was just expiring too, so he'll be looking for a new spell to learn very shortly. For now, they're just getting some good ward vision up. They already had one in the central jungle, now they have one on the
Dire's
eastern
middle
side, and
tower is
if they
under
take this
attack.
tier 2, then Mineski just have no map control. And what's to stop them, really? I mean, like I said, the Bat Rider doesn't have a great lasso target, not the Earthshaker, not the Rubik, they're just not valuable, or you could be turned on. And then, of course, we've already seen the Slark dispel it once. He actually, that time that he dispelled the
Dire's
lasso, also
middle
dispelled a
tower is
4-second
under
arrow
attack.
with the same Dark Pact. Lance's timings are just really, really good. But either way, if this tier 2 falls, Mineski, they just don't have a proxy to TP to. If they
Dire's
want to
middle
contest
tower
Roche,
is
they
under attack.
don't really have a great position as far as
Dire's
general map
structures
control.
are
And
fortified.
it's dropping quick. They're committing just to at least pop the fortification. And it looks like even beyond that with this ultimate on Lance.
Yeah, this has proven to be a bit of a sore spot right now for Mineski. They have a lot of single focus, single burst lockdown on their
Dire's
side, but as far
middle
as
tower
preventing the
has
push,
fallen.
that gets a bit shaky.
Radiant's
Mosin
top
TP's
tower
out. No, he does not! He gets kidnapped back. And it is Yaj who comes in. They clean it on up. Brewmaster won to get the last hit in. You thought you had a sweet escape right there, sir, but don't try to just get so careless to TP in the middle of your lane because they're not going to let you go like that. Not without a fight. You may have taken our tier 2, sir, but you got to go down, Mr. Grand Magnus. So they get it done. They might see a flank here. Mirana's near and behind, and they're kind of surrounded by both sides, but they're going right for that Mirana, but she quickly pulls out her own bit of a pounce to leap to go up to the north and avoid that danger. So they do lose their support, but still, they get that tier 2. Not too shabby. Could have gone worse right there for Arrow, but they managed to come out only losing the 1 casualty.
Yeah, this will turn into a game of just Fast and the Furious here, as we got haste runes, we've got blinks, we've got leaps, we've got pounces. Everybody's moving across the map very quickly, and it's just about getting that offensive position. Also, fighting in between the Ice Blast is a very critical skill for a high-level team to have, and so far Arrow have been doing it very well. But we do see some damage coming into Yaj. He will be playing around in this choke point. It's really hard to navigate that with the sticky napalm.
That was a bit touchy right there. Centaur went in, committed without the hoof stomp, just went for the slash instead. They lose him, but they do get the bat. Meanwhile, DZ quickly cleans up that Vengeful Spirit, and now benefiting from that extra plus 108, trying to right-click down some of the Mineski squad, and they're on the retreat out, but look who it is. It's Lance going on Clover, using the utility from that Blink Dagger. Grabs out. Can they prevent the Brew from getting out? They can't. Brew makes a slip escape right there and gets out with the bold TP in mid lane. And Arrow Gaming, after taking down 2, are going to just kind of take themselves down this mid lane. Just get a little bit of extra farm, but still coming out inch by inch ahead. Mineski is top as far as kills, 8-6. Net worth, though, belongs to both DDZ and Lance, the partners in crime for Arrow Gaming. And net worth is beginning to escalate slightly back towards them. It's only at about 1,500, though, so not too far out of reach here for Mineski.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, they have maybe in 1,200 gold the Brewmaster Aghanim Scepter. AA is making his way gradually there as well. And they already have the Force Staff up on the Bat Rider, so they have tools for pickoffs. And picking off a Razor or a Slark right now would just be all they need to really get the gold. In fact, Ice Blast down the bottom. Mosin should fall here.
Oh, that was easy setup. Just the 1-2 punch right here, because he does not stand a chance. The snowball to the face and then the fire to melt him down. Works out so nicely for them, and I am quite surprised. This AA has built some nice farm for himself. He was struggling to get level 6, it seemed like not too long ago, but he's only 2 components away from finishing an Aghanim Scepter and being only level 8. That's a nice thing to have going for yourself. Mirana, using the investment of that Midas, picked up her drums and already has 2K. So, man, this Mineski squad pulling together some really nice farm. Your Brew, he is going to build towards the Aghanim Scepter for himself. You know, people have questions as far as how much this really offers in the late game for your Brew. With a team that already has kind of a iffy late game, you know, Mirana being the semi-carry that she is. You know, we'll see if he manages to make it to his best ability right there. I think the only one who's coming up short is really their Vengeful Spirit. But she does have levels. Once she does reach that level 11, the swap gets that much better and easier to set up.
Yeah, another big thing about the Aghanim Scepter on Brewmaster is that he gets a second Drunken Haze. He can actually use the Drunken Haze in the split with the Wind Panda, and that's something that is difficult for Slark to manage against, because generally speaking, you're like, okay, I have Dark Pact, I'm fine, but even with that 6-second cooldown and extended duration, it's still, they're having the second cast there can limit Lance's potential to right-click when he really needs it. So we'll see if he finds that timing interval. No matter the case, they have some extra disables to bring his direction, and it's going to be all about controlling him, because right now they don't have much as far as ground target disable. So when he gets inside the Shadow Dance, all they can really do is arrow him or flame break him away.
They see Lance. They want him. He quickly goes to the low ground. Batrider going to try to catch up, Force Staff forward. He had Blink, but now he can't find him, and now Lance is going down on him. And a jump in from Centaur. Oh, no, but Lance eats the arrow on the backside. Marana's committing this leap. Goes on in, pulls out the Starfall, and they take both down. Nice double kill grab for Jacko in this top lane. Batrider falls, but they follow it up with a nice 1-2 takedown.
Mirana just jumped up 800 gold, as well as picking up the Geometry side that they had lost, and she's going to Midas up a creep. She's in just such a great position, even picks up a Wraith Band on the courier here. So, just overall, a great play and a great position for the Mirana to be in, and what looked to be a very cheeky turnaround ends up being a couple of major losses for Arrow. So we do see the Centaur is going to be making his way towards a BKB, perfectly fine in this situation with all the magical damage and disables flying around. But looking over at Razor, he's already got his, and we'll have to see what DDZ can accomplish with this 10-second charge.
You know, BKB, you know, it's still going to be a bit finicky for their side. But you got the Batrider Lyslow over there. That's not going to stop a whole lot. Ice Blast, though it doesn't do the damage, will persist through your BKB, and of course Swap also will go through your BKB. So it's going to be a bit iffy, though. Regardless, it will add the survivability. It will help with your arrow, with your magic missile, and a lot of other things. So nice pickup. But yeah, we'll have to see what he decides to invest for next. But they would love to invest in some kills here. They're smoked up. Oh, Mirana, though, is not going to be overcommitting on anything. Throws out the arrow, but that might be her downfall. Nice nice swap save, though. NMA, what a player. The bodyguard right there to save out the precious Mirana. And coming in from the side was Yaj, but they can't find anything with it. But regardless, a worthy sacrifice to save their precious core.
Yeah, and with the Vengeance Aura negative on them, Arrow can't really look to Roche off of that. They don't really get anything out of it, and it's just a really good hero to save in that situation. Jocko does pop the DD, but he gets out scot-free. And you were talking about the swap before, but it really obviously showed its impact there. The fact that now Vengeful Spirit is level 11, she can progress towards something like a Blink or a Force, if not the Ghost Scepter, allows her to just be in a position where she is able to always pull somebody out, or of course pull somebody back in, like you mentioned, if they're BKB'd up.
Speaking of pull someone, they pull a Centaur back into the fray, and it looks like Mirana wants to clean it up, but she's eating a lot of damage here, and she ends up going down. Do not forget the precious damage that Razor can bring to a fight. As DDZ moves on in, they quickly take down the bat and the Mirana. They do lose their Earthshaker. Lands big damage here. The Brew looking to persist. The Wave of Terror coming in from the north is what cleans it up, and now DDZ gets focused down, and now he might fall, and he will. Quick takedown right there, but Centaur wants to get in on the action. Jumps in, gets the stun, but unfortunately, they can't find another target. It's 3 for 2 now. Advantage for Arrow, or sorry, advantage for Mineski. But here we go. They haven't had enough yet. Blue moves back in, and they take out another, because it's all Rubik with that primal split. He's back again. Oh man, that even confused me.
Oh! On top of that, he might get all the Stampede at just in the nick of time. My oh my, that was very interesting. He kind of essentially used his TP scroll as a Blink Dagger there, and then he got the second Blink off after. If not for the Stampede, that would have been like a next level play by far from Joven. But yeah, in the end, he just makes a cool attempt and doesn't make anything happen out of it. But they keep their gem up. They get out with a couple of major kills, specifically the Razor and the Slark. And now you see the net worth chart. They've got 2 bypassing lands, which is a feat in of itself.
Man, that Rubik primals, or yeah, the split, even like got me confused there. I was so focused on DDZ and how he was going to manage to get out of that bind, and he didn't. And then I'm looking over, I'm like, why is the Brew hitting his own team? And you kind of forget for a moment, you get caught up in the action that Rubik was right there. And Primal Split is, you know, not one of the hardest abilities to grab a hold of, so he just primally takes it and puts it right to use. It's, you know, it's always funny to say, and I noticed in like the American qualifiers when another Rubik gets stole, you can really see who has skills in even playing their Brewmaster and who can't really utilize the micromanagement of all those bears. And, well, for their Rubik here in the hands of Mosin, he put good, strong use to it and tried to bring it back for his team. 11-14, your new score now. Mineski still leads as far as net worth. They're taking it back now. Just over 1K, nothing too significant. It's DDZ as far as true independent net worth, with Mirana right behind.
Yeah, and we're going to see that Blink Dagger come out for anime. Some more awesome play potential there. Obviously, the swap disengages have been really good so far, but now that extra range. He will have to hold back, because as soon as he starts taking damage, there's no way for him to get out. But as far as getting in a good spot, he can maybe even swap and then blink back. He can obviously get to the fight a little faster. So excited to see what that prevails for him. But we do see a blink on the side of Metalio as well. He hasn't really got a good slam off this fight, or this entire game. So we're going to be seeing that come into play a little bit more actively as he gets his kill and stagger as well.
Yeah, I want to put my basketball shorts on and my Nike shoes and get to Slam Town right now. And MTR has been very patient with his Echo Slam as far as finding the right opportunity. That Blink Dagger, though, will make things a little bit easier. But there's your Manta, now complete on Mirana. So being able to isolate herself better, add that extra pushing power. She gets caught out, quickly splitting it up. It'll work out nicely for them. They have enough split on their team here with Brew. It's a real banana split kind of a team they're working with right here as they push down the mid lane. Reserves out the arrow. Scouting arrow, of course. Got to get that intel. No one defending out the side of this Tier 1 tower, and they'll make their advancement in and try to clean it on up.
Mosin still has the Rublings available here, so if they do pick a fight very shortly, then he can obviously take a huge advantage of the Panda split. But, I mean, right now, the timing to engage doesn't really seem to be in their favor. If Jesse Vash picks up this Aghanims here, they really need Lance to have his Scotty finish. So they're going to push down on the bottom tier 2, but Lance needs to make his way to the Secret Shop, pick up that Scotty, and under this Observer Ward, he's in a kind of a stretch of no man's land. We'll see this Moonlight Shadow come out, and bad things about to happen for Arrow if anything goes the way.
His primal split before it expires. Looks like he might not get the opportunity to. Or maybe he'll just pull it off just to scout it out. Pulls out the dust. Uh-oh. Speaking of primal split, he gets his own off in the last second, so it's bear-on-bear action here. Real Battle stuff. As they're going to go toe-to-toe. I don't know who belongs to what, but we'll find out at the end of this one. DDZ moves in, look at the cleanup. The Batrider had already fallen and taken down Cyclone on the Slark to zone him back. And, well, their own Brew Rock throws out, catches on Mirana, but the Manta will be able to help her out. Regardless, the Tier 2 goes down. And after that hot mess, only Batrider to fall at the end of that one.
Yeah, it was very chaotic, but in the end they get the tower as well, and they weather the storm of that first big AA blast. Aghanim Scepter up for him, but Arrow sounding the retreat. At the moment, they're not looking at Roshan because obviously the Axe Blast would cut them out of that one pretty easily, and they're just looking for pickoffs. If Lance jumps in, gets a blink initiation on anybody, that Scotty should allow him to stay on target throughout from the top of their health bar to the bottom, and he'll get a lot of nice Essence Shift stacks for the full 2 minutes afterwards. So pretty big deal. We'll see him farming for now. But once he has Blink, Scotty, and Buyback, that's when he really gets to be the force to be reckoned with here.
And here we go. We got Jacko migrating up towards this top lane. There's another big lump sum. 2. Fix once, fix twice, fix 3 times. And we'll catch that creep with her arrow. So not going to be on the mark that she would love to get a hold of DDZ, as they already had followed it up with a nice Ice Blast right there. Maybe could have made something happen with that, though reinforcements were nearby, and Lance, who had also eaten the Ice Blast. So they're going to have to wait that one out. Lance now with his Eye of the Scotty, building up extra stats. Back to big gains for himself as they move down this top lane quite a bit. Also on the opposite side, you can see Yaj farming on through the enemy territory here. Invis migrating towards the mid lane as they maybe look for a flank here. NMA is also near. They scout out the support duo. They might be able to take advantage on a big jump in. Moran is also here, so we'll see. It looks like maybe they're going to go in. They might be baited into a fight. And oh, from behind, Bat grabs down Earthshaker. Ice Blast follow-up comes in. Batrider ends up falling. Oh, they try to get a swap back right there on Lance to help out, but it's not going to be enough. They lose 2 at the end of that one. Dust is a little late. Can't scout out the Marana. That was a counter of a counter. It looks like at the end of that one.
Lance had a great flank there, jumped on the Venge, so obviously, like we said, the limitations of the Blink. If he's connecting, then he's not going to let go, and yeah, the Venge will follow the Bat as well, just, yeah, that counter gank really prevailing. And one important thing to mention is that they had a gem on this Batrider. He makes a path right through, across the map, and gets a flank on the mid lane, and doesn't get a single one of these Observer Wards. There's like 3 Observer Wards he could have found with that Geometry Sight, and he didn't get in vision of any of them because of the darn nighttime Firefly.
Yeah, good, you know, not your run-of-the-mill ward spots either. They're a bit just outside your common ground, but yeah, bad luck for him to fly right down the middle. Won't see any of them, so they can't kind of get the best out of that gem as far as taking back map control. So Arrow holds strong onto it, and they also hold on to a sweet gem pickup there, and no one else but Lance to grab it, already able to kind of scout out where wards are going to be, and now he can just quickly take them down himself. So this is now going to be Arrow's opportunity to take map control back and just try to keep Mineski back into a corner and restrict them. Almost be like the Shepherds to keep him backing on in. And it's on Mineski to keep the pressure off and push on in and keep the offensive there. As still Jacko keeps on farming up. He's got Maelstrom now and nearly 800 gold. This Marana is building up a nice set of farm for herself, as we'll have to see a toe-to-toe test between her and what I would imagine being this Slark and Razor in the late game. Oh, he eats that Ice Blast just at the back end of that one. But it's on opposite sides of the map, as either team are not going to be engaging at the moment's time.
I really don't feel like Mineski can take this too light. Like, maybe if they theoretically put a ton of farm into the Venge as well and had 2 cores to go up against the Slark, fine. But just with Marana alone being the big one they're piggybacking off of, the Brew Links fall off late game, and the Abyssal Blade's going to come out eventually from the Slark, just negating anything Marana can accomplish. So I really am very concerned for their late game potential. For now, they seem to be kind of just going for a push emphasis, but it's a little chaotic. They're not really all together on this one, and in the end they're going to use the Moonlight Shadow to disengage.
Yeah, they were hoping for something to happen there with a good opportunity for Bat to jump in there on DDZ, but it wasn't there. They pull back. DDZ confidently moves on forward, and it forces them to pull out that Moonlight Shadow almost defensively on the way back. And now they're going to see Arrow Gaming coming on through as they bully themselves into the enemy jungle, seeing if they can catch any sort of stragglers on the way out. And NMA might be one of them here if they do cut her off across the path here. Ooh, Arrow sails, will not catch the mark. Lance promptly blinks out, and they actually don't catch anyone on the way. So Arrow continue to push on forward. They'd already taken down this tier 2 tower, actually taken down all outer towers. So next things up is to try to break the base here. But I would imagine Mineski have a formidable high ground defense. It shouldn't be too hard to set up a proper Ice Blast. Bat Rider's going to look for an opportunity to bring someone into enemy turf and try to take advantage of that. But it's a Razor, man. And Razor with an Agnum, so he is going to look to siege and siege real hard here. Ooh, that Arrow catches on the creep, and here we go. He pops out. That Eye of the Storm gets locked up here. Bat goes on back. He gets annihilated there right after the takedown. Jumping clap coming out from the Brew. Oh, he doesn't look like Rubik's going to be able to steal that one and live. He goes down. The 2-for-1, though. They're not allowing anyone to get back in. Marana goes down. Marana has no buyback. She is out. Oh, no, she does. She gets it right there. And now gets to move on in, and DDZ gets caught out with an arrow. Cold feet, and that's enough to lock him down. And so an overzealous Arrow squad going right back towards the fountain. Suffer from the buyback opportunity there from Mineski to come right back and counter them. But as far as objectives, the tier 3 only gets taken down to half, and Arrow Gaming lose 2, including the Razor. But I guess in exchange, they did take down Marana, forced her out that buyback. So maybe a slight bring back there for Arrow Gaming, though they don't get any objectives with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not all that bad. I mean, obviously the rubber band effect for a highly farmed Razor is bad to give away, but Jocko with the buyback there is still further from Mjolnir than when he started. I mean, maybe they look to Roche off of that. Yeah, we see the arrow coming out, and they do have the evasive aspects of this Brewmaster to help them take this pretty easily. But, I mean, Arrow in general, they keep the Slurk up, they keep the gem in their hands. It could have been a lot worse.
They pinging out. They know that this might be happening here, but it's the first Roche. It's only down to half life. It's not going down as quick as you would like here from Mineski. Bat Rider is just sailing across enough, waiting for them to maybe consider coming in. But this is going to be a bit shaky here. We'll see what happens. They're looking to catch anyone from the outside, and they see an MA, and they quickly take him down. Bat jumps in, and there's that telekinesis we were expecting from the draft going right to work. Moonlight Shadow gets pulled out defensively. They've already invested the time to take down this Roche, and they get it done. Can they get it picked up? Marana does grab it, and the Dire does get the kill. But they quickly swipe on out from that one. Back is stuck up and above. He goes down from Mosin right there. But meanwhile, on the right-hand side, it's Ancient Apparition who gets slashed down from Lance. Meanwhile, up on the right-hand side, they do manage to move on back on through. But Marana does slip away from this one. Same with the Brew, but they're the only two to stand. No buybacks on any of the supports. Though VS will be back rather quickly. DDZ with Eye of the Storm available, pops it right there, and they'll just make it go right down the mid lane.
Really close slip out there. They barely get the leap out, and then actually the Brew pops his BKB, dodging the pounce that was in midair towards him, and then gets the blink off in that timing window. So nice there, but we do see an Arrow of Steel. We see a 5v3 situation with Lance being so farmed that he could handle a 1v3. So there's really, it's very difficult to hold this position. The Fortify's gone, and this Aghanim set from DDZ is just chewing through the racks.
Oh, NMA eats that arrow. Ice Blast flies out, but actually doesn't catch anyone. So Arrow Gaming take down a Rax, take down the tier 3, and they're looking to pull out here. And Mineski, they need to grab someone, but Lance comes in from behind. It's time to counter back as VS gets taken down. Echo Slam pulls out, doesn't really get on the mark right there, but they move on in. They're going for the precious Marana, and they get it done. Aegis will be forced out. MTR gets lassoed up, quickly pulled on down. Now Jacko retreats on back to the high ground here. Eats an arrow on Lance, and Lance is looking to pursue, but here we go, Rubik. Moving on in with the Bears. Catches out Marana, and she ends up falling. Nice grab. Great power play coming out from the Rubik, and this is a perfect segue up to the top lane to go for even more base destruction on the back of DDZ and this Razor.
Absolutely insane. We saw another great final split from the Rubik, but Lance there, just the Bash Lord. He doesn't even need RNG on his side when he attacks twice a second with all this agility he's stolen. Almost 200 stacked up here. Just without the Abyssal, he's still perma-bashing his opponents. Marana got hit 3 times with her first life, 2 with her second. There's just no maneuvering against this guy. He's got you beat, and he's got the Abyssal now to guarantee it.
2 sets of racks down now. Arrow Gaming very, very confident at this point. They have taken dramatic control of the net worth now. It had been very close up to about 5-10 minutes ago, and then it was all Arrow Gaming from there on out as it quickly escalates up. That's the Summit beginning right there as it gets up to 12K to their advantage, 10K XP. Lance, nearly 20K net worth just by his own self, and DDZ as well. These two have been the powerhouse duo for this Arrow squad, shown a lot of promise, and they're really pulling it out here as Mineski with their draft that has a bit of a questionable late game presence is proving to just be a bit too problematic. A lot of single lockdown, great setup, and a promising start, but it is just not leading up to the place that they would like to be here at this point in the game.
I don't know, man. Do you think there's any chance for Mineski to go beyond the Summit here?
Oh, you did it, my friend. I like it. We'll see if they can manage to try to get this Summit to escalate right back and down in their favor, but it's going to be a slippery slope. As we've already seen here, bottom lane, Lance gets a hold of Miranda. There is no escaping the pounce. Moonlight Shadow's not going to be to any avail because this guy, he's got RNG and he has that gem. And she gets promptly ripped apart. Now 70 seconds dead, no buyback. He hops up. I'll take that ward, thank you very much, and moves on through, and they're going to go for the final blow coming right up from the south.
Yeah, just having some great late game potential in these heroes that they've gotten together, having some good defensive play. They were a little shaky with like the level 3 Rubik and Centaur not really finding their place, but once they got their blinks, once they got their ultimates, they obviously shaped up, and they've controlled the map very well by holding onto this gem, using this Shadow Dance to scout things out, and when you got the map advantage here, it's only a matter of time before you control the game, and now Lance just taking it to Mineski.
They don't need towers. They want kills, baby. They move on in there. They blow their whole load and looking to take down more. Batrider falls. The brew-on-brew action continues here as Rubik is just going toe-to-toe. Hurls that boulder, catches Jesse Vash. The Iceman gets smacked to the backside from your totem, but does manage to save himself moving on into the fountain. DDZ as well. These guys are no respect right now as they're like, maybe we should go back and try to finish this one off here with the rest of my Eye of the Storm as he quickly takes it to this tier 3. Oh, no, not going to be enough. Still, look at this guy corralling him.
He blinks out of the splits. Just absolutely.
Don't you dare try to get out of this base right now as they try to take it back. They still can't take down any. He hurls out, gets cycloned right up, and there's your GG. Mineski clearly will not be able to come back in this one. Raise the white flag, and there's the explosion. The Ancient goes down. They cannot defend it. We are all done with our third game matchup. It is Arrow Gaming who show a promising start in their debut here in Summit 2 C qualifier. Any last thoughts, Blaze, on that matchup? It would look pretty good for Arrow.
Nah, they looked incredible from them. They really just pulled it out there once they got the mobility underneath them. That was their weak point where they couldn't really react to situations. They were getting hit by Ice Blast. They couldn't maneuver. But once they got the blink now on 4 heroes by the end of the game, they were able to control positioning a lot better. The gem and the way Shadow Dance works allowed them to just control the map, and yeah, it was very, very impressive to see them just kind of stretch their point of emphasis across the board, and also some really great plays from Lance. Like, obviously we saw him do some great offensive plays, but I think the biggest thing was the timing of his Dark Pact on the top tier 1 tower, where he was able to get both a lasso and an arrow. Like, that doesn't happen if you're just a casual Stark player. This guy has played this hero time and time again, and he shows a mastery of it. So well played to them. Obviously MVP to Lance, and just great play across the board from Arrow.
They have a lot more games to play in their round robin to prove themselves and try to propel themselves much further towards the opportunity to get to the real summit here at the LAN, as this is only day number 2 of the C qualifier. We got one more matchup today to finish out our 4 best of ones. That matchup will be, drumroll please, as I pop up my schedule. I don't know off the top of my head. It's going to be Mineski once again, but now they're going to be going against Johnny's Revenge. So they already went against the former Johnny squad Arrow. Now they got to take on Johnny himself, including him and the rest of the squad. This is going to be an exciting matchup. So we'll see. We got a little time for that. Everyone sit tight. Remember to purchase the bundle. It's only $9.99 in the store. You can get a hold of your compendium. You can get a treasure pack, the ticket, the Husky Core, all that good stuff. If you like what you heard, catch me over on Twitter at Coddle Guy. Check over Blaze at Blaze Casting. Thank you so much. We'll be back in just a hot second.